It's good morning, Louise Gilbert. Thanks for joining us here at Yellow Shelf.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me.
Super excited. Congratulations. Your book came out very late last year. So it's finally exciting for me to have you on to share this fabulous book, Make Work Work for You. Louise, what do we need to know about the book? Tell us all about it.
Sure thing. Well, I guess the first thing is it's very practical. So I wrote it in a way where people can pick it up, read one section, put it into practice, what they've learned that is, and then put it down. Because the feedback that I kept getting time and time again from leaders is they just want to know what to do. Give me something short, sharp, I'll do it. I want to see a difference. So that's why it's got 27 different practices that cover, I guess, three distinct but very connected areas of performance growth and well-being. So I guess that's the first thing is that it's practical. The audio version will come out soon. So I know all my fellow ADHDers that love audio books. I'm sorry that it's not out yet, but it will be very shortly. Honestly, the reason that it's not out is I did a bit of a voice recording sample for the studio and they said, yep, you're okay to go, but did you know you've got a little bit of vocal fry, which is apparently a very common thing, Joe. I don't know if you've heard about it
Wow.
in podcasting, but apparently I'm 40. Women of my generation,
Yes, me too.
that's a huge generalization, but this is what I was told. Women of my generation sometimes can have a touch of vocal fry, which has been influenced by people like the Kardashians.
Wow. Oh
And
my
so,
gosh.
yeah, so I'm getting a little bit of narration coaching for that. That's the true story. I wasn't happy going in knowing that it wouldn't be, I don't want to say perfect, but awesome. And so even though I'm a speaker and I speak all of the time,
Yeah.
there is that vocal fry that comes across with the audio narration. And so I'm going to nip that in the butt.
Yeah.
So everybody who's into audio recordings, don't worry, you're not going to see any or hear any vocal fry in that.
Oh, fabulous. Wow, that's fascinating. Tell us, you've had this outstanding career. You're a facilitator, change leadership, leading through change, all those fantastic add values to organizations. So you know this space. What inspired you to actually write the book? And tell us what we need to know about your career, anything we'd love to hear.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So I guess I've been working in the field of change as, like you said, a change manager, leading change in transformation, really lead big transformation programs for big companies for almost 20 years. And throughout that time, and then also starting my own business, I've noticed patterns. You can't help it, right? After a long time, you notice
Yeah.
all of these patterns. And so, I think the core observations that I made was that what we're seeing is that there's stress, there's high levels of stress and occupational burnout. Yeah. We're also seeing that people are telling me they've got too much work to do. I've got too much work that I can handle. The next bit is, especially through that move and that shift into hybrid, that there were struggles around making that work. And then there's this sense of disconnection, maybe disconnection from the purpose of what people are doing at work or disconnection from each other. So, and I guess another piece is around this sense of, finding it really difficult to attract and also keep, retain, and grow people. And so when I look at all of those different themes, and then I also look at my own lived experience of being neurodivergent with a neurodivergent family, and also look at what's happening more broadly across the world in the space of neuro inclusion and how the world of work needs to change to evolve significantly for all of these challenges, as well as for neuro inclusion, I sort of thought, wow, work is not working anymore, right? We need to make work work for us. And I also had these observations that we have this trade-off mindset where leaders are sort of like, yeah, we need to push on the performance pedal. We need to go hard, hard, hard at the expense of well-being. Or people are thinking, yep, we need to, really look after ourselves, look after our health, look after our well-being. But it's almost like there's this trade-off.
Yeah.
It's at the expense of growth. And it doesn't have to be that way. It needs to be both.
Yes.
So my whole book really sets out and lays out 27 practical actions that leaders can take to achieve performance, growth, and well-being, not one at the expense of the other. And that's about making work work for you. And of course, it's written in a way that dumps all of those broken basics that we've been training and teaching people for the last couple of decades and haven't changed, and replaces them with contemporary methods, which I'm especially proud of because they are neuro inclusive. Yeah.
Yeah. And just quickly, I'm curious, this is your first book. What was the process like? I'd love you to share, the juggles of first book, business, busy, human. Yeah,
Yeah.
tell us about that.
Yeah, so it's the first book that's published. It's probably the eighth book, to be honest, Joe,
Oh.
because I threw, I ditched a lot out. So, I think I was told by a book writing coach earlier on that, the book is written in the process of writing the book. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what happened. My first sort of book was about a completely different topic, and it really evolved from there. So, yes, it's the first one that's published. I think the structure took a while to land on. My whole methodology is the Gilbert model, the three petals of excellence, which is the performance growth and well-being element. It's about feeling good, doing great, and getting better. And once I had really, honed and landed that and thought about the structure of change as well. So can I get a bit nerdy, Joe? Is that all right? Can I kick you out?
Absolutely.
You'll cut me off
Absolutely.
if you think the audience won't be into it. But I know from my background in change that when we're talking about helping or supporting someone to change at an individual level, like one person, compared to changing a team, compared to a whole organization, it's a very different way that you would go about
Yeah.
that sort of change. And so I wanted this book to be holistic and cover all three levels of change. And I wanted it to be practical and cover, the performance growth and well-being. And so once I had gotten that sort of matrix in my mind all mapped out, my ADHD just went to town, to be honest, in terms of drawing connections, thinking about all the stories, all the leaders that I've helped, all of the theories and frameworks and all of those things. It sort of came together, but it was painful, Joe. It was
Yeah.
absolutely painful because what I learned is when you write a book, you have to write it in a very linear way.
Yes.
And I'm an orthogonal thinker. So I connect lots of different,
Yeah.
bits. It's lots of side quests going on over here, having lots of parties and
Yeah.
fun in my brain. So that was really challenging, very, very challenging. There's probably, I think I was told there's a few more books that have been left on the cutting tables. So in
Okay.
terms of all the content that's been chopped out of my book, there's other books in that. But I'm still getting over this one, to be honest. I'm really
Well,
proud of where it's
yeah.
come to, but
And no, I was going to say you need to enjoy the ride for this one. I think it's, there may be more in the future, but yeah, I think it's really sounds like it's been a journey, but to deliver the book to the audience is something you should enjoy.
yeah, absolutely. And, the feedback so far has not been surprising
Yeah.
in terms of people saying to me, it's really practical, it's really easy to read, it's relatable. And the reason I'm not surprised is because I designed it with the audience in mind, because I did the research around what people wanted to start with and what they really needed. They wanted to listen to interesting stories that were contemporary, that, they really related to, that weren't, I guess, too corporate-y. And so that's what I deliberately did exactly what people were wanting and what they needed.
Ah, brilliant. Louise, just finally, if we're interested in the book, we're interested in you, how do we connect? I will put this in the show notes, but please direct us on where we need to get to.
Yeah, I've got heaps of great blogs on my website. So head there. The website is louise-gilbert.com. Lots of blogs, lots of free downloads as well, including free chapter of the book, if that's something that people are interested in. And I also send out, I'll say weekly-ish or fortnightly-ish
Yeah.
updates as well, which relate to some of my new thinking and blogs and helpful resources too.
Yeah. Well, like I said, good luck with the journey, the experience of this first book. I somehow think I might be talking to you in the future about
Great.
more books. There's plenty. And you know what? I mean, I'm inspired to hear more about vocal fright. So maybe you could write a book about that in the future. How fascinating is that?
Yeah, thank you so much. And I've just realized, Joe, can I just be honest? I haven't even shown my book. Can I show my book?
Oh, yeah.
Do
Hold
that?
it
Here we
up.
go. Here it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to miss that title. I think it's very catchy, very clever, but it sums up, and like you said, 27 practical, actionable tips. Louise, thanks for joining us here at Yellow Shelf.
Yeah, thanks so much, Joe. Have an awesome day.